everyone. We are joined by Shopify Rebellion's meL today, coming off of their win against KC. Firstly, congratulations, meL, on today's win. My first question to you would be like a very general one. So I think at this point you're like one of the faces of GC and of VCT in general. So how does that feel coming from the other side?
It's definitely, it feels like not real, honestly, in a good way. I think it's crazy if there's people out there that I'm expected to be like a role model, people look up to me. I'm just kind of doing my thing. And I guess what I'm doing is working and it's all good. So I guess I'll just keep doing my thing.
Mm-hmm. I think that you also you're willing to make statements and stuff and talk about things that a lot of people do struggle with in the VALORANT scene as well as the GC scene. So I think one question that I would personally love to get your take on is regarding the jump from GC to tier 2 or to tier 1, because you're somebody who's done it, who's actively continuing to try and get there. So what advice would you give someone? Because a lot of people who I've interviewed have said they want to get there, they want to lift the Champions Trophy someday and stuff like that. So what would be your advice to them?
I think my advice is there is no shortcut. You just have to work hard. We're obviously coming from the whole reason Game Changers exists, right, is because there isn't a ton of, marginalized genders and women competing, right? And so because there's less of a talent pool, it's not so easy for us to get into these upper echelons of play because the talent pool is smaller and there's less people to kind of learn from. There's so many players today in tier 2 and tier 1 that, played alongside great, IGLs and really experienced players that had tech FPS experience, right? Mm-hmm. How many people in tier 1 have CS experience or have played along people who have a lot of CS experience, right? A lot of them have backgrounds in that stuff. Not all of them, right? People like Benji, it's whoa, it's crazy. He came from Fortnite, but, he plays alongside people who have or have some level of experience with that. So for a GC player, you're going to be kind of coming in at a disadvantage, not because of your birthright or anything, but because just naturally that's how things kind of play out in terms of there's not as many women that play tech FPS and stuff like that, right? So you just have to work hard. You just have to work hard, and you know that there's going to be a lot of people kind of preying on your downfall, and you kind of have to accept that and just ignore it and keep playing and keep trying hard. One thing that is consistent amongst the top players in VALORANT, irrespective of gender, is how much time they spend playing the game. The more women that play ranked and just grind, Sarah, I'm gonna refer to Sarah, but my teammate Sarah, she's a bit of a fringe example. She plays 40 ranked games a week, and I know that sounds crazy, but you have to get at least 20 or so ranked games every week, and on top of practice if you really kind of want to push yourself and get to that level. So there's no shortcut. You have to work hard and play the game.
Mm-hmm. I think that makes a lot of sense. And talking about working hard, I would like to know what your average, routine looks like or your day looks like with SRG.
Back at home, I try my best to replicate it here, but it's pretty much the same. The exact schedule changes. But back home, I wake up around 10:30, which is kind of late for the average person. But for gamers, that's quite early. Yeah, 10:30 a.m. I wake up. I go to the gym from 11 to 12. I take a shower, and then I go for a walk, I get breakfast, and I'm usually back in my seat around 1:30 at my setup, leaving me about an hour or 30 minutes until practice, and then I'll spend that time either watching VODs or just thinking of things about VALORANT, watching videos and in ValoPlant and stuff like that, just thinking about things to do that day in practice. And then we have practice from around 2 to 9 p.m. Typically that's 2 hours of server, 2 scrims, an hour break, 2 scrims, and then we're done. So we end normally around 9 or 10 p.m. And then from there, I'll take a small break to eat dinner. And then jumping from 11 to 1 a.m., I try to play ranked or do things that are relevant. So I'll try to watch more VODs, or I'll come up with new strats, and I'll just think about the game. So normally, I have free time around midnight to 2 a.m. I go to sleep by 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was a lot, but
no, it's nice. It's actually it's insane how much time you spend doing just VALORANT related things. Out of curiosity, do you ever feel bored or feel burnout or something? Or
for me, I definitely have experienced a lot of burnout this year, but I've found that hanging out with friends is kind of my pastime outside of practice. Around 12, around the midnight mark is when I kind of I'm my brain's already melted out, right? Because if I'm at my desk at 1:30 and I was doing bound-related things until like 12 or 1. That's 11-hour day, right? 11 to 12-hour day. So around that point, I just hang out with my friends on Discord. Shout out May, that's Sarah's wife. We hang out a lot, and so we just play random games and just like play RAM and stuff like that at the end of the day. It helps me a lot.
Well, out of curiosity, what are some of the games that you play when you're not playing Valorant?
For me, Arc Raiders, I was really into Arc Raiders before we came here. I can't play Arc Raiders now, but right before I was playing that with Sarah and my partner Roy. We play a lot of games together, so that was the most recent game.
I remember reading somewhere that you were playing like Oblivion Remastered this year.
Yes. When it came out, that's my shit right there. I love Oblivion.
Same. I've been playing that like whenever I'm not playing Valorant. It's been so good.
I love it. What build do you go? I'm going like a illusory stealth archer.
I'm avoiding stealth archer 100% because I did that with Skyrim too much. So yeah. I'm just trying to go full on mage because I think the last time I played it was very warrior spec. So. But the mage is not as fun as it was in Skyrim, sadly. But I'm giving myself a bit of a challenge, so fingers crossed we'll get there.
Yeah, the spells in Oblivion are better than Skyrim.
That is true. All the side guilds are also way better. I'm just enjoying doing all the side quests. Yeah. I met my boy Lucian again. Spoilers, sorry guys. But, I've been really enjoying that quest line.
I love Dark Brotherhood. It's awesome.
It is really awesome. So much better in this game. I mean, it was good in Skyrim, but it's way better in this.
Way better in Oblivion, yeah.
I'm so glad that they remastered it so people can understand how quest lines are supposed to actually be.
Yes, the new gens can understand how good it was. Yes.
I've been convincing at least 10 different people to play it. But that's the sidetrack. Sorry about that. So I wanted to ask, I think one of the things, I got to interview Noya, I think a couple days ago, and one of the things that she said that I found really interesting was this year, it feels like without floor, all of you guys realized that you haven't really hit your ceiling, and you've been able to individually improve a lot, and stuff like that. And I wanted to ask, how has it been for you, as an IGL, but also as a player? Did you feel that as well, or?
Oh, yeah, I think it really freed up the rest of us to make our own plays and not be so reliant on setting up one singular person to kind of win the round for us, and then we just kind of play to not lose, and one person gets to play to win, pretty much. So the rest of us have been able to have that trust to step up and make big plays in big games, and kind of, we've definitely changed a lot of our processes built around that, just so all of us can kind of really flourish in that department. It's been really nice. I really enjoy it. I think you can really actually see that at its best in our win versus TSM in Challengers. I feel like that was truly a team effort where everyone stepped up and took risky plays and made them and won them. I think that was probably the hallmark of the change that you are saying.
I think that watching you guys in Challengers this year was just absolutely fantastic as a fan.
Losing?
Even losing, yeah. I think it's, it kind of sucks to watch as a fan, but just to see you guys perform at that level, and I know it's been a goal of yours for years to get there, and I know that you guys have been consistently grinding for that every year, so it's really nice to watch that happen. And I think that this year, even if you weren't able to make it as far as you wanted, or you ended up getting relegated, what would you say was your biggest lesson or takeaway from your year in Tier 2?
I think Tier 2, you can have maybe the best macro game plan you can. Obviously you should strive for it, but a lot of Tier 2 comes down to micro. I think having really good micro, you will be what's the word I'm looking for? You'll be exposed for not having good micro in Tier 2. Every little inch you need to take and you need to hold on to it. I think players in Tier 2 are very good at greeting map control and greeting kills. If you want to push off someone off A long in Tier 2, you're going to have to do everything, throw everything, and hold the angle, because there's some players, we played against Envy, for example. Exer's someone, he'll take the dart. He'll get fully scanned, he won't TP, and he will sit there and make you shoot him if you want the space. So a lot of Tier 2 is predicated on having very good micro, and so that's probably the biggest takeaway for me this year. I'm not trying to say that I have perfect macro, not at all what I'm trying to say. There's room to improve always, but I've just noticed that micro is everything in Tier 2, and that if we want to continue to get better, it's that micro chemistry between duos together on sites, and also parts of our default, just making sure we have good micro.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very detailed answer. And I think I remember watching an interview a few years ago. I don't remember who you did it for, but you said that you wanted to, win Ascension with your team and get there. But I also remember last year or so you were entertaining offers from VCT, or at least looking for offers for VCT and tier 1 and stuff. So Tier 2 and stuff. So I wanted to ask if you do get a good Tier 2 offer or even a VCT offer, would you go for it instead of GC? Would you be able to do both at the same time? How would that work?
For VCT, absolutely. If I got an offer anywhere in the world, in any region, I will 100% take it, and I'll give it everything. And I think everyone understands that on the team as well, and everyone feels the same. I think for Tier 2, it's definitely a bit more muddy. I think that I would rather just stay with my team, most likely. I'm definitely, open to hearing anything out, of course, but for me, it's if my team can make challengers, then I want to, make it with my team preferably. But, hopefully we make challengers again and, we can show that. But yeah, I'm always open to any offers, even Tier 2, but mostly, VCT, I'll travel the world for that. You could take me anywhere. I'll do it.
Hey, Pacific, come on. You heard her. Let's steal her. Okay. Jokes apart, though, I mean, I would love to see you in VCT Pacific. I have a little bit of bias because, I work the region, but still. I would
I respect it. Hey, if they're ever calling me up, I'll live in Korea, I'll live in Seoul, and I'll play. I don't mind.
How has your time been in Seoul so far?
It's been great. I love the food here. I love the late night vibes and everything. I could definitely live here temporarily, at least.
Mm-hmm. And I think, what would you say, since you've been such a mainstay of the scene, what would you say has been your biggest personal challenge so far, in terms of growing as an IGL and as a team leader and everything?
I think the biggest thing, there's two that come to mind. My first one is really coming into my own as a leader. I know that, on Cloud9 White, I know that team, we won a lot of things and then fell short at champs, and I think I am a different person, a different leader than I was after that champs where we ended up getting fourth. Because there's a lot of things that changed, and there's a lot of accountability that all of us needed to take, and I definitely grew from that experience the most. I think that was the most difficult time that I've experienced so far, but also the most growth had happened. The second thing I would say is kind of getting over that mental hurdle of making it to Tier 2. I think I've, at least I can speak for myself, not any of my teammates or former teammates, but I've always felt like there was, the back of my mind, you can't do it. But this year, we were able to break that barrier and kind of break that mental barrier even for myself. And that has been really freeing. And, it was really difficult, but we finally made it. And I'm super confident that if we can make it, that time, then we can 100% make it again. I see our skill level, and I truly believe now. But having to kind of disprove that, negative self-talk to myself was very difficult. But I'm grateful to have finally conquered that demon. Because I feel like you watch us and it's you can watch us even a year ago, and it's dude, they're playing, we play good Valorant. Occasionally, you know what I'm saying? Good enough sometimes, and it's how are we not able to play it in these kind of matches? Is because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So breaking that was awesome.
I'm really happy to hear that, and honestly, watching you guys this year was pretty amazing. And I mean, I think one question that I did want to ask you was regarding the GC scene. What do you think that you can do more to kind of support it from both Riot's side as well as other parties, whoever's involved in the Valorant ecosystem? Because there's been a lot of discourse about how GC doesn't get as much support, perhaps, especially in other parts of the world and everything. Because I think Shirazi was talking about it. So, what would be your take on that?
I think I would say for teams that attend champs, there is quite a lot of benefits. Actually, when you attend champs, you get a bypass to the next stage, I think. I'm not sure exactly the wording that they use, but we benefited it from it this year because we went straight into the tournament, pro relegation tournament this year at the very beginning of the year, where we played Fun Havers, I think they were called at the time, and then we won that match, and that qualified us for challengers. And so being able to kind of skip that early process of playing Premier is very useful, at least for teams that attend champs. So I would say taking the most advantage of that early opportunity at the beginning of the year is the best opportunity for GC teams that attend champs to make it to Tier 2. Is that first January, February part of the year is incredibly important, I think, for timing. Second thing I would say is I'm not really entirely sure. I think, like I said, for champs, we made it through that system that Riot has afforded us, and we're very grateful. I can't really speak for the rest of the teams, but I would say not to give up and to keep trying. I know that there is a lot of vitriol online, and there's a lot of people that don't want to see people succeed. And so they say it's never going to happen, or that they're not good enough yet. And these things people say these things until boom, it happens, right? And then suddenly these people that have been praying for the downfall are incorrect. So, I always refer to the idea of the 4-minute mile. Decades
I think I read that in an article, yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about
Nobody did it, and then one person did it, and people kept doing it after that.
Exactly. Everyone said it couldn't be done, and then it can be done. And to do that, you just have to prove them wrong. So keep working hard. Don't give up. I know it's hard. I've been there myself, but keep trying, and one day you will see the fruits of your labor, I think.
I think that's a very important message to remember as well. I think Kim Yeji said something similar as well. Like, don't give up on stuff. And anyway, before I let you go for today, your next game it's gonna be against TL. Very I think it's a series that we've seen a couple of times around the block, and I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think this year? What are your expectations for it? And what do you think? Who do you think is your biggest challenger in this tournament in general? If you had to pick a team.
If I had to pick a team, I was asked this on the pre-arrivals interview. I think for me, it's whoever we play that day is our biggest threat. We want to make sure we give them our full attention, and assume nothing is given to us. We got to take everything that we want, and we have to earn it. So for us, it's Team Liquid. We're playing them, but I do think they're also like a strong team, irrespective of us. They are like they beat G2 Gozen. They made it to upper finals as well. I have a lot of respect for Daiki and the members of that team, and they all know it as well. I've followed them for years now, so it's going to be a good matchup. I don't have a ton of crazy expectations. Besides, I think it'll be a really fun match, and I hope that it kind of lives up to the hype. I hope it's not necessarily like a crazy blowout. I mean, a part of me, let me take that back. As someone competing, I want it to, be a blowout. I want to win fast. But from the side of, almost like a viewer, it's like, this is a banger game, right? Yeah, exactly. I just want it to be a fun match.
I think it will be. I think it's gonna really deliver for sure. I'm very excited to watch it anyway. And my last question would be, you do so many things. You're like a broadcast analyst. You do like these events. You play in tournaments. You work as an IGL. How do you do it all?
It's difficult, but I think for me, I like having a solid schedule. A solid schedule does wonders, and my agent, Dave, he helps me a lot with managing all these different hats that I wear sometimes, but it also helps that, like Riot, especially whenever I have offers to like work the desk and stuff, they're very understanding of my schedule, because it can get crazy with how we played Challengers and Game Changers this year, and, working the desk. Thankfully, Masters was in Toronto, so that was very seamless.
Convenient for you.
Yeah, it's all about just making everything fit in my schedule and just being on top of it. I can't let up for like more than a couple days, or else it all kind of just like falls apart.
Is competing like your favorite Valorant related thing to do, or is there anything else in the space that you do like more that you eventually want to try?
Competing definitely takes the cake. There is really nothing like it. It's hard, even just in life, it's hard to think of something that comes close to like the fun of competing. But I will say that in the past, I would say just working the desk I find really fun. I find it really enjoyable, but I think actually I could see like deep down the line, maybe like a future in coaching. Not right now, but I think it'd be kind of cool to coach, because I like thinking about the game strategically, but I also like thinking about the game from like a team dynamic perspective and managing different personalities and stuff like that. I definitely would have some work to get to do that kind of role, but that's why I see it more in the future. But I could see getting a lot of fulfillment from that as well.
That sounds really cool, to be honest. Anyway, thank you so much, Mel, for your time, and good luck for your next game. We'll be cheering you on.
Yeah, thank you.